baby. Shake it, baby.
Finally, it's my turn to weigh in on this one, albeit a tad belatedly. I'll just begin by saying this. Not since John Romero promised to make us all his bitch with Daikatana has an FPS fueled by so much hype, released only to fall flat on its arrogant fucking face. And Duke Nukem, we all know, has arrogance in spades. But this game, in development since the 1990s, shortly after the seminal so-called Doom killer Duke 3D launched, is like a washed-up superstar who shows up wasted and exceedingly late to his own party and then wonders why all of his guests are slipping out the back door. So okay, I'll just say it. Better late than never, I suppose. The gaming press unabashedly ripped Duke a new orifice when this thing streeted, and for once I can't say that I entirely blame them, but I'll also add to that by saying that Duke Nukem Forever has its moments. It really does. Shooting Duke mainstays like pig cops in the face to the soothing, nostalgic sounds of original Duke 3D weapons definitely brought a smile to my lips. In fact, the actual gunplay in Duke is fast, old school, and damn satisfying by and large. What boggles the mind is the fact that it feels like the game isn't solely focused on shooting aliens to death. Instead, it tries its hand at murky environmental puzzles that at best merely serve to pad out the game's length, and at worst, bore you to frickin' tears. That is, assuming you even know what to do when the game lurches to a halt, the action grinding to a stop like a freight train after the conductor trips the emergency brakes, and you're forced to move a bunch of pipes around, or throw barrels into boxcars to access new areas. Call me crazy, but when I think about Duke Nukem, I don't think about puzzles. I think about no-holds-barred alien slaughter while Duke steals one-liners from Army of Darkness. And Forever actually does take about that amount of time to even get going. The first hour or so of play is a baffling mix of first-person platforming and driving around in a remote-controlled car. Yeah, nothing says Duke Nukem like these seemingly endless segments. Only when you finally get to shoot a bunch of those lizard-looking aliens that teleport and fly around on jetpacks does the game even hint it actually might be enjoyable. And one must be patient to so much as get there. And even then, halfway through the game, when things really start to get interesting, you find Duke waking up from a near-death experience in a strip club, only to find himself playing errand boy for an exotic dancer who wants popcorn and a vibrator and sends you off on your way, trying to find these items while absolutely nothing of interest happens. Who in God's name thought that this was a good idea? My brain hurts from just trying to understand it. Duke Nukem Forever seems to pride itself on being old school and one of the FPS genre's grandfathers, and yet it takes cheap shots at Master Chief's armor while hypocritically making Duke's health recharge just like the shields in Halo, and also limits you to carrying only 2 weapons at a time. The latter offense is probably the worst, since giving you access to all of Duke's weapons would not only be true to the game's roots, it actually might make it feel like it's not conforming so completely to modern-day gaming conventions, which it most certainly is, even if it hopes you won't notice. Load times between deaths and levels are excruciatingly long. This is a big issue in a game that's not exactly a technical marvel in the first place. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks pretty good, but it doesn't stack up to the genre's heavyweights, and there's absolutely no excuse for waiting 3 minutes for a level to load. I know, I sound like I'm ripping Duke a new ass, too, thus far, but again, the game's not without merit. You just have to wade through shit, and sometimes literally, to get to the good stuff. One inspired sequence has you shrank down to a rodent size and navigating a kitchen to rescue a burger joint employee from getting electrocuted. Usually first-person jumping isn't a good thing, but at least this is a creative example of how to make it interesting. But the best sequences in Forever are all about the action and gory alien bloodletting. It's amazing that these balls-to-the-wall first-person blasting segments of the game feel so scarce, though, particularly in a Duke game. Without the hype, if it had shipped quietly, with a budget price tag, nobody would be offended by Duke Nukem Forever. Like I said, there are parts of the game that really are fun. But baffling design decisions, too much bravado, and unforgivably long loading screens really make Duke feel like the relic of gaming past that he most certainly is.